Just by your answer, sweetie, I can tell you go, this is classic. Yeah, right, whatever. Here's what is on your mind. I'm a big, arrogant, big mouth fucking asshole, right? And you want to you want to destroy that any way you can.
Welcome back to the show, everyone. Got another really cool guest that was nice enough to, spare some time to come on the show. We've had a little bit of a time difference and stuff like that. I had to figure it out. I had to Google like what my time zone is to get this done. So I wanted to introduce everyone to Rampaige. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. I wanted to give you props. I usually bring people on that are, super intentional and got a good page going on. They've got a lot of stuff to click on. That way, when I show them off to my followers, they can actually, go down the rabbit hole on your stuff. So I want to say thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm excited.
Yeah, so I wanted to bring you on and talk about some of your pages. Like, can you talk about what people can click on? Where can they find you? Because I know you've got like some podcasts out there too. You've got a page that I follow. I think is a really interesting follow. So
Yeah, so I'm a psychic medium. I'm also an astrologist. I also have a podcast that I do with my friend Jim and I. So the first place you could find me is lollipoppodcast.com. That's going to take you straight to our podcast. We're on season 4. And then if you were looking for me, you can Google Contrary Cherry. And if you Google Contrary Cherry, my website will come up and all of my social medias are linked on there. And then my Instagram is made in Kentucky. So it's like the word Kentucky, but with a U, Kentucky. A lot of people, like, your eyes play tricks on you, and a lot of people don't realize that it's Kentucky, not Kentucky.
yeah, I didn't notice that right away.
There you go.
So yeah, that's a good one. You slid that in. Talk to me about your background and like what brought you to being a medium and astrologist and stuff, because that's what kind of attracted me to your page. There's always something I haven't heard about yet on there.
Yeah, for sure. So throughout my life, I've always known that I was different. I always felt different. Definitely kind of slept on my gifts by getting involved with like drugs and alcohol and like partying and like distracting myself. A lot of people who are highly spiritual go down a path of addiction in some way, whether, that's like alcohol, drugs, gambling, sex, whatever it may be.
Right.
Because a lot of the times, we're numbing something out or like distracting ourselves from it. So most of my life, I was just lost. And then, like, probably around like 26, some lights started coming on, and I was led to a mentor who is based in Louisville, Kentucky. Her name is Suzanne Smith. And I got a reading with her, but in that reading, she opened the door to her intuitive development classes. And she was like, I really think you should come. It's like $20 a week or whatever. So I started doing those. And within the first year, it was just like a rocket launched. And now here I am.
So it's like something that found you and you found it kind of thing. That's
Yeah.
really cool.
And in the past, I just didn't have anyone in my life that was like encouraging it. You know what I mean? Like, she was very grounded in her practice. And not only did she show me that you can make it a job, but you can develop it on your own terms.
Yeah. Yeah, there's still some uniqueness and individuality to it, but it's like true for all of us. All this astrology stuff, that's like some of the stuff I'm finding out. It's like whether I deny it or I try to argue against it or whatever, like, oh, I'm different. It kind of hits home a lot. So what can you tell us, like astrology for dummies? Like, that's one of the things I wanted to ask you. Like, I'm a beginner in it. I'm learning it. Like I said, it's becoming undeniable in my life. Like, when I run into people that are deep into it, they can tell me a lot about myself without even knowing me. So
Yeah, so just to start out for the listeners, download the app. It's called Time Passages. And in that app, you will load in like your birthday and your birth time, and it gives you like a play-by-play situation, and it is so on point and it's free. So that's something that I would say. So astrology is ruled by 3 things: your sun sign, which is what everyone knows. That's like the month you're born in, your moon sign, and your rising sign. So what's really, really important to get to know your chart is you need your mom or your grandmother or someone to tell you what time you were actually born.
Okay.
Even if you're within like an hour range, it could still work. But it's when people are like, I don't know, you were born at night, or you were born in the morning. Like more specific time will get you more specific results. So
Okay.
once you know your birth time and you load it into like time passages, it will tell you your rising and your moon sign. So something that a lot of people don't realize is that we are more influenced by our moon and our rising than we are by our sun sign. So the
Okay.
sun sign is like, I was born in Leo season, so I'm a Leo. But what's unique about your chart is the moon moves rapidly. Like the moon moves every other day into a different sign, and that's when we have a full moon or a new moon. So a lot of people don't realize what their moon sign is.
Mm.
And then your rising sign rules your whole chart. So you have 12 houses in a chart, and we have 12 zodiacs. So your rising will be house one. My rising, I keep secret because it's kind of
Mm.
like your social security number. Once someone knows
Mm.
your rising, they can pull up your chart.
Mm.
And I don't like that. I don't want
Yeah.
anyone to be able to pull up my chart.
Okay,
So,
I'm learning. So there's some stuff you got to play close to the chest.
yeah, the rising sign. I
Okay.
keep like, especially if we're talking astrology to someone who knows astrology,
Yeah.
I don't want them looking at my chart without my permission. I don't want to give them too
Yeah.
many clues.
Okay, I like that. Okay, so how come they've only told us about one most of my life? Is it just easier to digest? They just tell you like what sign are you?
Well, I mean, it's kind of a common way of distinguishing people, like their birthday. So I can look at your birthday and know what zodiac you are, but I need your birth time
Oh,
to
I
get
see.
the other two signs. You see what I'm
So that's
saying?
like the
Like,
most general of the
yeah.
filters of it. Okay,
And
gotcha.
a lot of people don't even know what time they were born at all. Like, I have a
Yeah.
lot of people that come to me, and I used to offer a session where we would go through all 12 of the rising signs and try to narrow it down based on characteristics and traits and commonalities of things you resonate with. So, I have a lot of people, especially like older generations, they don't know what time they were born.
Yeah, that wasn't something they were checking for. They were just like glad you made it.
Yeah,
You know what I
exactly.
mean? They're like, there's 12 of us. We don't got. There's 13 kids. We don't got time for that. Is there anything you could tell me about Sagittarius? Just like on the lowest key?
Yeah, so it's a fire sign. It is a really powerful energy for making your mark. The Sagittarius sign is a legacy sign. So it is about creating some type of legacy. And if you are a Sagittarius, you normally have creative abilities and talents that are sometimes dormant because Sagittarius can be very free-spirited. So at times they have a lot of great ideas that they don't like follow through on
Hmm.
because they have so many great ideas that they're like, okay, well, this one isn't going the way I wanted, so I'll just start a whole new one.
Yeah.
Or, okay, I have all this stuff to do this, but now I'm bored, so I'm gonna go do something else. So that's something that as a Taurus, I very much have the follow through. Like I can still push through when it's not glamorous and fun and exciting anymore. Like
Mm.
I'm like the Taurus energy of like, no, we bought all of this and we're gonna finish it. Like we're
Yeah.
gonna do it. But
Nice.
with Sagittarius, they're very free spirited and they're very much like, I don't want to. I'll
Yeah.
just forget about that. So
You're
Sagittarius,
nailing it.
yeah, it can be very spontaneous and not grounded. Where
Damn.
like I'm a Taurus, which is an earth sign, which I'm inherently
Awesome.
grounded,
Yeah.
which can create like me being stubborn.
Okay. That's interesting how powerful only one, like it's just Sagittarius for me. I'm learning about the other ones now, but it's still nailing it. That's exactly how I am. It took me
Yeah.
a long time to start the show. Once I started the show, I start getting like happy from it. But then I hit these bumps in the road where I'm like, is it even worth keeping going? Like, should I keep going? And it's like, of course I should. I already started it. I'm halfway down the road, it's like keep going. So that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, and the thing about projects with like a fire energy is you have that initial excitement, but then when the results are not turning as quickly as you would have wanted them to, you're like, wait, this sucks. It's not as fun as it was when I started it. And the thing about podcasts that people don't realize is I think it's like 75% of every podcast in existence has 10 or less episodes. because so many people, three-fourths of people get going. They realize they're not going to make money. They realize that they have to invest a lot of energy into it. And I know how it is, like when you're trying to nail down guests, that
Mm,
is hard. I
yeah.
think our podcast thrives because I have a co-host. So
Right.
we have to get each other together. But when you're
Lock in.
bringing in an outsider who has nothing to do with your vision, right? Like it's hard to get people to respect your time and energy. And when we were trying to like get guests to come on, we've had people show up in their car, show up just crazy places. Like one time this girl was at the pool and she was like, "Is that going to be okay?" And we were like, "No, like we told you to come in a quiet place. Like why would you be at your community pool?" Like,
Oh
no,
man.
it's not gonna
Yeah.
work.
It's gonna blow the whole operation. Yeah. But you've been really cool about the whole thing though. So like, I don't know if it's me, maybe like I'm becoming a new guy and I'm not losing the steam, or like the Taurus in you helped me lock the show down.
Yeah, I really wanted to do the interview. I just feel like sometimes I overcommit myself
Me
and the
too.
energy is off.
Yeah,
Like
me
if
too.
I don't feel like the energy is in alignment, I
Yeah.
would rather postpone. Like I'm not being flaky. I'm just an energy reader and I can tell,
Yeah.
especially when my social battery gets low, that I'm not giving what I could give
Yeah.
in
To
another.
me, that's like super respectful of like you just want to give me a good show and make sure it's all good and like, you're
Yeah.
just being honest. Like, hey, I was stuck in traffic an hour ago or something. I don't want to do a show. Like it could be something little that's like I'm done.
Yeah,
So,
for sure.
but yeah, all praises to you for being cool. I know you do readings on your, at least you used to, right? You do
Yeah.
readings and stuff. Can you tell
Yeah.
me about those? Can you tell me like, have you ever had one go bad or something like that?
So when I started my podcast, or I'm sorry, when I started my business, I set up a website and I did free readings for a whole year. Like if you booked with me for the first time, I would do a free like 30-minute reading for you. And so many people would book those slots. I would be prepared to do the reading and they would just ghost and not show up. So that was like super discouraging in the beginning. And then like the wheels of the tide of the change turned and I met Bunny XO. And when I met Bunny XO and I gave her a reading, she instantly started FaceTiming me on Instagram and was like, "Can you come to Nashville like ASAP?" So
Mhm.
like I really felt like the universe was prepping me of like, can you still do this when no one cares? Will you still do this when no one is respecting your time, your energy, your intention? And because I kept pushing through and I didn't give up, like I was like, fuck it. I'm going to be stubborn. I'm going to keep going. I don't care if anyone's listening. And then boom, big celebrity energy came in and was like, I'm going to help you. I'm going
Yeah.
to help you feel supported on this. And honestly, like, I know we were going to talk about Slick Rick, RIP. He's the original person that was like, you and Bunny would get along. Like he was
Really?
like, you need to follow Bunny. This was in like 20, I want to say like 2017. Her and Jelly had not been together, but for like a couple years. And they were still doing the party and the drugs. I mean, they were still in it. And he
Mhm.
was like, I really think that you would resonate with her. Your journeys are so similar. You two would be friends. And
Wow.
he always saying, like, if you make her a painting or you make her something, I could get it to her. Well, then flash forward, all like I started following her and like connecting with her, and then boom, the fates like brought us together and we
That's so
are
cool.
really great friends. So I always
Yeah.
know like Slick Rick in heaven is like so proud that his plan worked because I would not have known who she was until like the TikTok phenomena or like
Right. Like too
Jelly's
late. Yeah.
breakthrough. Right, too late. Exactly. And I always think that in my head, like if I would have waited until she had millions and millions of followers, because when I first started following her, I think she had like 300,000 followers on
Mhm.
Instagram. And, I know, oh, hold on, sorry. I know because she is like so big now, she's
Yeah.
never switched up. Like she's never switched up on me.
That's really cool.
Like had big psychics and like Lauren the mortician and people who have huge followings on her show, and she's still like, no, you're my girl. You're my number one. Like you're my in-house psychic. Like I love hearing their journey, but you're the one I trust.
That's so dope.
And I mean, that was such a big part of my journey that I say like she filled up my spiritual gas tank. And sometimes
Yeah.
it takes is like one person to fill up your spiritual gas tank and help you go forward. Because I was running on fumes at the time of me meeting
Like you
her.
said, you felt like no one's listening or something.
Right,
You were
right.
just feeling that heaviness of that. Man,
Yeah,
that's really dope. And I love hearing people that like there was the right timing, but it's also they're still good people. Like you said, they're solid throughout the time. So that's like, icing on the cake. Like,
yeah, like a lot of people have like their preconceived judgments about celebrities and stuff, and I'm not a huge celebrity person at all.
right.
And what's crazy about it is like she has put me in so many rooms with people who I didn't even know who they were, so I'm not biased to their journey. And then she'd be like, "I'm hooking you up with my girl," and then I like figure out who it is, and I go look, and I'm like, "This girl has a show on Bravo. Like
You're like,
this
what?
girl has 10 million followers." Like, and I'm
Yeah.
like shook at the same time, but it's like the one thing I love about my journey is that it's super unique and I've done it my own way. So I've kind of set the tone for how I want to do things
Yeah.
rather than like following someone else's lead.
Yeah. That's really cool. You really get the feeling of like being your own boss that way too. Like
Yes.
in the creative side, whatever. Hell yeah. So you talk about meeting the right people at the right time. You
Mhm.
said you have a co-host, right, for the pod?
Yes.
Let's talk about the pod.
Yeah, so our podcast is called Lick It Like a Lollipop, and we
Okay.
came up with that name because, sexual innuendo
Right.
sells. I have a marketing and bachelor's degree, so I'm really, really good at like marketing, and
Okay.
I also have half of my degree is in public speaking. So I feel like I was like destined to have a
Yeah.
podcast or destined to do that. But her name is Gemini. She lives in Idaho. She literally found me from my interview with Bunny. She came to get a reading, and in that reading I basically said like, you have so many creative gifts and you're meant to do these things. And I don't even know what all I told her, but a year went by and the girl contacted me and she goes, "I've started a podcast, it's called Coven of Rejects, and you're like top 5 guests that I would love to have on." And I was so flattered because she had just gotten one reading, I didn't really know her, and I went on to her podcast and it was so natural. It was literally like, it was like that was my long lost friend. And then
Nice.
from that, we started talking more. And then it came up where we were like talking on FaceTime for like 3 and 4 hours a week. And I was like, in my
We're already
head,
doing it. Yeah.
we could talk about this and share this with the world.
Yeah.
And what was cool about it is she already knew how to start a podcast and I
Yeah.
knew how to market the podcast.
Once
So we
again, the timing.
brought it together. And what's so wild about it is we've only met in person one time. Like we do it on Zoom. Like we have no studio. Like, we don't have what everyone else has, but we've made
Mhm.
it work. And we're on season 4.
Oh,
And,
yeah.
it's crazy because podcasts are hard. Like, as you know, like it's not easy to keep up with everything.
Mhm. Yeah. And it's like you want to do your best too. So it's like you're being critical of your own work and you want to turn in something good. I always tell people it's like in school when you had to turn in a project, it's
Mm-hmm.
like it's better to turn something in than to nothing at all. Like you're going to get an F if you turn nothing in. So do your best, turn it in. Like it's scary, but this is what you got. So that's what's been like keeping me going. And I'm trying to get better every time and just give myself that grace. Like it's good that you keep going and then improve. Like that's enough for now.
Yeah,
Uh,
and honestly, I believe like a lot of what blocks people is they don't meet the universe halfway. Like when I say that, like I did free readings for a year. I wasn't getting any money. I was spending money. I was spending money. I was hosting a website, and because I built that confidence, because I built like that structure and foundation, when the moment was right, Bunny came right in and like scooped me up and built
yeah,
me a 5-story mansion on my foundation,
that's so
right? Like, but
sweet.
if I
Yeah.
had not been doing the work, you
You would have
can't,
been ready for the chance. Yeah.
right? Like, a lot of people don't realize, but like, take an artist like Drake. When people have a catalog that backdates even before their success, you're going to be more than just an overnight 15 minutes of
Yeah.
fame. You've got a full catalog, like
Yeah.
Lil Wayne, like with his mixtape era and different things. Like people sleep on their gifts because they don't feel like they're ready, they're
Yeah.
good enough, or they don't feel like their talents are needed by the world. But the thing is even like Vincent van Gogh was poor, had nothing when he was alive, and then boom,
Yeah.
starring is one of the biggest paintings in the world, you
But you
know? So
don't
it's like,
know what, yeah, you don't know when you're gonna hit.
yeah, but if
You
you're
just
not
gotta
doing
keep
the
going.
work, if you don't have the backlog, you're never going to get there. So
Yeah,
it's people like, oh, well, I have to wait, or I don't know, or I'm scared, or I don't want to put something out that's not great. Everyone has. I mean, if we look
yeah,
at the beginning of like Drake's career or Wayne's career, it wasn't great,
yeah,
like, sometimes people are sleeping on themselves, and that's why you're not getting the results.
yeah.
Cares if you're being judged by people who don't even do what you do.
Right. It's like that's what they're there for. They're there for the eyeballs. So
Mhm.
let it rock. Yeah. It's funny you said that too. Like meet the universe halfway. My dad used to say that kind of stuff a lot. You know, rest in peace to my dad. He used to say stuff like that. Like, um, it was in Spanish, so it was different. But he'd say like, as long as I have the opportunity, I'll take it the rest of the way. You know.
Yeah.
So like you
Yeah.
have to if I'm placed in the right spot, I'll do the rest of the work. And that was
Yeah.
like the attitude he gave us growing up. So
Feels
um
like your dad's like speaking vicariously through me then, because like as a medium, that
yeah.
happens. Like people will be like, my grandma used to say that, or my dad, like stuff like that
Does
happens.
that? Yeah, I swear. And he was the kind of guy where he'd want to be in the conversation no matter what. So he'd
Yeah.
be like, "What? Yeah, I said that too."
Yeah.
Um,
That's awesome.
yeah. So speaking of rest in peace and stuff, I did want to before we get out of here, I don't want to take too much of your time. I did want to bring up the way I found your page. The reason I found your page, I followed Slick Rick, right? Rest in peace. And I thought he was a really funny guy, and he was always doing like weed stuff, and that's like around the time I started getting into weed, all the
Mhm.
cannabis stuff. So he was like a dude you follow. Like, you do you not follow this guy yet? You know what I mean? He's always doing crazy dabs and stuff. So I wanted to give you a chance to maybe talk about him a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. Honestly, like whenever I met Slick Rick, neither one of us were like the best versions of ourselves at that time. But when I met my mentor, Suzanne, Slick Rick was going to those developmental classes with me.
Oh
And
wow.
yeah, like he was there in the beginning of me developing my gifts. And so, he was always such a supportive person. And that's what I miss the most about him is he would hype up like the bum on the side of the street or
Yeah.
like anyone. He would sit down with celebrities, sit down with the homies. Like he was one of those people. Like he definitely liked to show things off and like flash his guns and
Yeah.
flash his pounds and stuff like that. But he was really a humble person in reality.
Like to other humans and stuff like
Yeah,
around
like
him.
he
Yeah.
really would build you up. If you had a brand or a business, he would try to help you. One of my logos that I still use on my website, he made for me. And like I won't
Oh, that's
change it
dope.
because like he made that. And it's
Yeah.
like, he supported me when I didn't even know who I was. And honestly, I know for a fact because I believe a lot about like past life karma or past life connections and like you and I connecting is like his spirit coming in and bringing us together. He's done that with Bunny. When I first met Jelly for the first time, I literally felt like I had known this man my entire life. It was in Pikeville, Kentucky, and he had like a small show. This was before he started getting real big. And the first time I met him, he looked me like just right into my soul and goes, "I'm so glad that you're here." And he gave me this big hug. I'm talking like Jelly Roll, like everyone's there to see you. He gave me
But
this massive hug.
even that phrase, I'm so glad to hear it. What? Like that
Yeah.
already makes you feel welcome from the jump.
Exactly. And like
Like
his
super included.
energy and like Slick Rick's energy remind me of like such the same person. Like
Yeah.
the welcoming, like making you feel seen. Like everybody's here to see me, but I'm grateful you came kind of
Yeah.
thing. And like Slick Rick has really been such a big part of my spiritual journey, even now that he's on the other side.
Yeah.
So just like a fun fact, his sister Tabby, we were at a bar one night with his family. They were playing pool. This dude was over on the side of the like bar, and I said, "He's about to come over here and talk to you, and this is going to be your man." And now, flash forward, they're married and have a kid. Like we didn't even know.
Damn.
Like
Yeah.
I was so locked in, like with his family, and like honestly, he was just such a good person because he made me believe in myself. Like he saw
Yeah.
something in me that I didn't see at the time. And I hate like how things happen, like him dying so suddenly and like not really knowing, you know, all of what had happened and him passing in the hospital. Like it sucks because it is one of those things where you really don't know when the last time you'll talk to someone is.
Yeah.
And I wish like I would have had a podcast by then, so we could have done an interview. Or I just wish there was
Yeah.
like more things
Yeah, I
set
wish you could
in
share them
stone.
even more. Like you guys,
Yeah.
yeah, like everyone else missed out, kind of thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
literally, because he used to get on Facebook Live and we would sit at his kitchen table and he would just be the funniest person in the room.
he was
And
really funny and he was really consistent. Like I could always count on his page to make me laugh, and there's going to be something up there. Like
literally,
he was always fucking around, so I really enjoyed him.
one of
And
my
I never
favorite,
met him, you know.
really, you never met him?
No.
One of my favorite things that he did, and I know he posted the video when he started doing the Belly Boys stuff and he was
Yeah,
screaming Belly Boys everywhere he went.
yeah,
We went to a Mexican restaurant and we had ordered like a giant queso and a bunch of food. And this lady comes over, the server, and she goes, "Do you need a box for this?" And he goes, "No, I got it." And she goes, "What about a bowl for your queso?" He said, "Lady, let me show you something." And he grabs his phone and he grabs the queso and he just starts chugging the queso with his phone right here. This lady's in the frame and she's like she's so
that's so
floored.
funny.
And like honestly, he just did stuff like that all the time. And
Any
I think
excuse to be a goofball or whatever.
yeah, like I think that's what I miss the most about him is just like he never failed to just be crazy silly and like he would constantly go thrifting and then be like, "Hey, I bought you all this stuff." Like he wouldn't even ask. He would just be buying so much random stuff for me. And like he bought this little step stool for my cats so they can like step up and look out the window and they still use it every single day.
That's
Like I'll never
funny.
get rid of it. Like I
A
don't know where
thoughtful
yeah, like
guy.
where that even came from. But, I really do credit him with the journey and success that I'm on right now, just by like introducing me energetically to like Bunny and Jelly. Because, before that moment, I remember Jelly like in his rapper I hang drywall days.
Yeah,
Like I didn't know anything else about him in a current
yeah,
stance, didn't know he got married. And it's crazy because I have another friend who's in spirit who back in high school used to be like, Jelly Roll will be number one day. I don't care what you all think. Jelly Roll is the best. And he passed away from drugs. And it makes me like feel like Sean and Corey, Slick Rick, his real name's Corey, are like in heaven. Like, that's my girl. She did it. She
yeah,
listened. He knows because
yeah.
both of them
They were
knew
up
who
on it.
it was like before anyone did.
Yeah,
And honestly, that was like back when like No Ceilings and Sorry for the Wait and all those mixtapes were dropping. And I remember being like, I don't want to listen to Jelly Roll. I want to listen to Lil Wayne.
yeah.
And
Like that's what
and
was
like no one,
popular.
yeah, like no one knew who that was. So it's just crazy to see so many of my friends go to Spirit at such a young age, but then being able to like develop my gifts and my abilities, I'm able to like still communicate with them and like
Yeah, and like you
feel
said, make them proud. Like this is like a nod to them. Like, yo, you guys see what I'm doing? Like, I'm
yeah.
I'm not wasting my time here.
No, for sure. And honestly, I feel like Slick Rick has brought so many people into my life. Like there was a girl named Amber that he was really close with that I still talk to all the time. Ambi. I don't know if you ever heard him talk about Ambi on his
Yeah,
story. She would go
yeah,
live with us all the time. She always messages me and we talk. And then, there's another girl named Amber that was involved with the cannabis community that I went and visited out in Arizona. Like
uh,
he's brought so many people into my life and he was such like a legend in that industry that I feel like so many people like still follow me because it makes them feel close to him.
yeah. That's why I was just like, that was kind of like I stayed because your content's cool,
Yeah.
and you're doing cool shit. But it's like how you're saying, like I just kind of owe it to him. Like I've this is like I what off of his recommendation, I'm gonna follow.
Yeah,
So
yeah. And it's like 420 weekend,
yeah,
literally
yeah. That's
like so symbolic on that end. And then like, we had kind of rescheduled and now we're recording like 420
yeah,
weekend.
yeah.
Like,
Super close. Yeah. But we
yeah.
did on purpose want to do a 420 thing for Slick Rick. So
Yeah, I really
hell yeah,
love that. And I think at the end of the day, community was so important to him and he was so like proud
yeah,
of his people. Like when you like all would start a brand or a podcast or do things like that. Like it's really cool and it's super sacred to be able to connect with you now and to like bring in his energy.
hell yeah. Well, thanks again for coming on. I'm gonna let you go. Go ahead and tell the people one more time
Yeah.
where they can follow you because it's a good follow.
Yeah, go to contrarycherryco.com or just Google Contrary Cherry and it will bring up my website and you can find my web or my Instagram, my TikTok, my podcast. You can Google lollipoppodcast.com or Made in Kentucky with a K, KU. And yeah, I look forward to it. Thank you so much for having
Oh
me on
yeah.
your show.
Yeah, thanks so much. And hopefully you're down to come back. If you ever have something you want to talk about or promote,
Yeah.
you want to teach me more stuff, like I'm a complete newbie. So,
Yeah, and maybe next time I can give you a reading on live air.
oh, okay. We'll think about that because you nailed a lot of stuff today. I don't know. I don't know if I want to be that scene.
Yeah, that's funny. I just shared people like that you're a seer until you see them. And that's
For
something I
real.
deal with a lot. Like people like it until I'm looking at them and then they're like,
Yep.
"Wait, I don't want you to
Get
do
those
that."
laser beams out of here.
It
So,
sucks. Well, thank you so much, Rio.
thanks
I
a
will
lot.
talk to
Appreciate
you
it.
soon.
Have a good rest of your night. All right.
You too. Bye.
Bye.